Many people are not aware of the great cultural diversity that exists in the modern state of Israel. Let me tell you about it. Shalom, my friends. This is the Kiva Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. Many people think Israel, known as the Jewish state, is a monoculture kind of society. But that's the furthest thing from the truth. There's incredible cultural diversity that exists in the modern state of Israel. Let me start with the non-Jewish population. A bit over 20% of the Jewish state is actually non-Jewish. Most of that percentage of the population is Arab, and most of those Arabs are Muslim. So there are Muslim Arab Israelis. The other percentage of the Arab population here in Israel is Christian. So there are Christian Arab Israelis. In addition to that, there are Bedouins who mostly live scattered around the south in the Negev desert. You also have a group of people known as the Druze, which is their own religion that goes back many, many centuries. Most of them live in the north in communities on top of the mountain, specifically in the Carmel mountain region. They are a monotheistic faith, and they have their own rituals, their own beliefs, a very insular community, but also, like the Bedouins, contribute greatly to Israeli society, go to the army actually as well. In addition to that, there's a very tiny, small community of Bahá'í that is a monotheistic faith as well, that goes back just a couple of centuries, and they have their world headquarters in Israel. It's a whole story I'm not going to get into now, maybe for another video. And they don't live here permanently. They have all kinds of volunteers coming through for different lengths of time to basically spend time at the World Center to take care of it. They have these beautiful, beautiful grounds, these incredible, exquisite gardens. If you've never seen them, wow, you have to come and visit. Really a sight to see. And so that's some of the cultural diversity that exists in Israel in the non-Jewish population, again, which is just a bit over 20%. Now let's look at the Jewish population. About 80% of the country is Jewish. Makes sense, it's the Jewish state. But within that, there are Jews of all kinds. Jews literally came back from the four corners of the earth to live in the modern state of Israel. Before the modern movement of Zionism took off in the early 1880s, there were small pockets of Jews living here in the land of Israel. There always were. There never was a single second where there was not a Jew living in this land, even during our 2,000 years of exile. The main places Jews lived before Zionism took off were Jerusalem, Tzfat, Tiberias, and Hebron. And you had a diversity of Jews. You had some Jews from Arab origin, some Jews of European origin, living here, praying, studying, being a Jewish spiritual presence in the land. But with Zionism in the 1880s, what's not a flood at first, but eventually turned into a flood. Basically, Jews started to come back, specifically from Europe, specifically from Eastern Europe and Russia at the beginning. And that was really the movement that obviously led to the creation of the state in 1948. Once the state was created and the doors of immigration were open wide, right? There was actually a big discussion in the newly formed Knesset, the Israeli parliament. Should we allow unlimited immigration or not? And the first prime minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, said, absolutely yes, it's why we created the state. And even though they were in the middle of the War of Independence, and even though there would be great financial challenges, he said, this is why the state was created. How can we not? That's exactly what they did. They opened up the gates of immigration immediately after the creation of the state in 1948. And Jews started flocking it and flooding in from literally the four corners of the world. At first, Holocaust survivors from Europe were coming in, and then Jews from all kinds of Arab lands, Northern Africa, around the Middle East, from Morocco to Iraq. And eventually, over the early years of the state of Israel, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Jews came in to the land of Israel to live in the state of Israel and brought with them all of their incredible cultural diversity. And that's why today, when you come to visit Israel and you walk the streets of Israel, you see all Jews of all different kinds. In my town alone, which is really a microcosm and a great example of what Israel is like in general, you see Jews of Russian background, Jews of Yemenite background, Iraq background, Moroccan Jews, of course, European Jews, of course, American Jews, Ethiopian Jews. Literally any kind of Jew in the world is represented on your average street of your average town here in Israel. And it's an incredible thing to see. It's a really beautiful blend of all these different cultures. Jews came from these different places, bringing with them their language, their dress. Of course, they all had the same religion, Judaism, and the same shared past, but they developed different customs in the lands that they lived in, their foods, their music, and they brought all that with them to the modern state of Israel. And that really is what created and formed the unique culture of the modern state of Israel, is this unique blend of all of these different peoples coming from all these different places. Yes, with a shared Jewish heritage, but with an incredible diversity of, again, music, food, clothing, and languages. And that really has formed the beautiful basis of the culturally diverse culture of the modern state of Israel.